Morning, everyone.
Morning. Is it muting us?
Okay.
All right.
Now.
Are we ready to go? All right. So today is Daf Samach Beis, Mishnah Shabbos. So we got down to the Mishnah, which, I don't know, around 10, 12 lines down. Mishnah says, L'teitze isha b'mechet and akuva v'lei b'tabas sheyesh. So the first case is, we'll mention, I think, 5 different items. So a woman should not go out with a needle that has an eye in the needle. In other words, it's a functional needle, and therefore such a needle is basically used as a kli in order to go ahead and sew, and therefore this is not any sort of ornament, and therefore if a woman goes out with a needle, even if it's put in her clothing or whatever it is, that would be considered to be carrying, because one does not normally wear functional kalim, and therefore since it's not an ornament, but rather it is, and not to be worn, it's a kli, right? So therefore, it would be considered to be masui. It would be considered something to be carried. And also, a woman should not go out with a ring that has a chaysim, that has a signet. And not with a kuliar that the Gemara will mention later on, what I think is a brooch. Basically, it's used to keep the collar closed of a woman, which is not frequently worn, v'loi b'kovelas, and also not with a kovelas, right? Not with a, we'll soon see some sort of spices that are worn perhaps around the neck, a little spice pouch, v'loi b'tluchi shel plato, and also not a flask of balsam, right? So it's for fragrance. In all these cases, these 5 cases, vim yatsa chayeves chatas. All these 5 cases, if she goes out carrying it on Shabbos into the Rishus Rabbim, she would be chayev chatas. Divrei Rameir, this is the opinion of Rameir. So according to Rameir, all 5 of these cases is considered to be a masui, something which is carried. It's not something that's worn. It's not an ornament. It's not tachshitin, and therefore one who goes ahead and if a woman wore any of these, she would be chayev chatas. However, the Chachamim argue, and they said, no, the last 2 cases, the ones of fragrance, whether it's the flask of balsam or basically the spices around her neck, those actually are worn, and therefore it's not considered a masui. Rather, it's still, you can't do it, but it's pat. So let's see the Gemara. Amar Ula, the chilufeyan bi'ish, and it's the opposite when it comes to a man. All right, so the Gemara wants to know what that means. He's going on the ring, right? So he's talking about the ring. Now, we said that a ring with a signet, if a woman wears out, because women don't normally, it's normally used for documents. And as we all know, right, that, women are only supposed to be in the household, all right? And they're not, do not conduct business. And therefore, there was no reason for the woman to have, the gentleman to have a signet. And therefore, if they went out with a signet ring, right, they would be chayiv, and the man would be opposite. Alma, anything that is fit for a man is not fit for a woman, i.e. these rings are only fit for men, so therefore it's not used for a woman. Something which is fit for a woman, right, such as perhaps wearing a ring without a signet, because that was typically worn only by the women, so therefore if a man went out with a ring, right, a ring without a signet, right? It's not a functional ring. It's basically just jewelry. Then he would be chayiv. So let's see. Masav Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi says kasha haroim yaitzim b'sakiv lo haroim about the sneeze. So we say that shepherds would go out with. Excuse me. So shepherds would go out. They would wear their sackcloth. That was their typical uniform that would be worn when they would be out. Rather, not only shepherds can go out and wear their sackcloth on in the Rishus Rabbim, even any person can. So why did they say shepherds? Because it was the way of shepherds to go to wear a sackcloth. But what do you see from here? They see from here, since some people, i.e. shepherds, wear sackcloth out in public, it's not the normal thing. Nevertheless, it's considered to be worn by all. So the question is, if a woman wears a ring or without a signet, why is that not considered to be something that's worn by humans? And therefore, one should not, since it's worn, one is not chayv chatas. So Rav Yosef saber ula nashim am fnei atzmen. You know why? Because it's 2 categories: it's men and women, and therefore, yes, Men are one category, and you can't just say, well, since a woman wears it, therefore any man who has it is also considered to be wearing. No, that would be carrying. Rather, what we say is, but men, despite a person is a shepherd, nevertheless, that's still considered the same category. So therefore, since a shepherd who is a man wears sackcloth, therefore any other men can go ahead and wear sackcloth and not be chai v'chatas. So Eisve Abaye as a kasha, Maitzi tefillin machnesin zug zug. The one who goes ahead and finds tefillin on Shabbos, it's sprawled out, and there's just a rabbim, and it's bizayon to have it sitting there. So let's say multiple pairs. So you should go ahead and put on one at a time, right? One at a time. Let's say find 5 tefillin shel rosh, right? So you put on one at a time, and you go ahead and carry it or wear it into the house. You do one at a time. So you're allowed to go ahead and put it on, right? That's wearing it. Okay. So it says over there, echad ish v'echad isha, whether it's man or woman. But if you hold that, wait, there's stuff that's worn by men and not women, and stuff that's worn exclusively by women and not men. So what about tefillin, right? Tefillin is worn by a man. So since a man wears it, there's no problem for him to put it on and walk it into a safe place for the tefillin. So why is a woman allowed to do it? You say, and women are like two trees. And tefillin is a mitzvah aseh shazvan grama. It's a mitzvah that is at a time. Another certain time you're chayiv, certain times you're putter, and therefore, since this is it's mitzvah aseh shazvan grama, and women are putter, the women are putter. So what's the answer? Hasam k'sav Rav Meir over there, according to the sheet of Rav Meir, Lila's man tefillin who, Shabbos man tefillin who, of Rav Meir who holds. We're tefillin on Shabbat. So therefore, as man, it's always tefillin, always time for tefillin. Then
you're going in and out. Is it only my phone? Or is it everyone's phone?
It's everyone. You might want to turn off your video simply because it's just breaking up too much. You're running out of bandwidth.
The video.
If you turn off the video, just do the audio. It might work a bit better, but you're breaking up too much right now.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you. All right, so let's go. All right, so I'll just chaz the kasha. The kasha is like this. We said before that what men do is what men do, and what women do is what women do. So how can you say, and the Bryce appears to say, that if a woman goes ahead and finds tefillin on the ground, she can go ahead and put it on because that's considered to be wearing. Well, what do you mean? Tefillin is only worn by men, and tefillin is their own nation, and men are their own nation, women are their own nation, and therefore a woman. Why do we say she's allowed to go ahead and wear something that a man can wear? Because women don't wear it, because tefillin is only a mitzvah say shezman groma, right? So we say no. It's the opinion of Rabbi Meir who holds that it's always time for tefillin, whether it's night or whether it's on Shabbos, and therefore it's not considered to be a mitzvah say shezman groma. And therefore, it's considered to be something. It's a regular mitzvah, and therefore, women are not. Therefore, women can't go ahead and do it. Does that sound better? Are we doing good? The sound is better. Thumbs up. Are we good?
It's much better now. Yes.
Okay, good. Fine. But that Goras, another question. It's a hotzah kalach yad. In other words, what we say that hotzah has to be something that you hold, right? The typical way of carrying things are you hold it in your hands, right, in the palm of your hands. And over here, when the man wears a ring, or a woman wears the ring with a signet on it, she's wearing it on her finger, which is not the typical way of carrying. Normally, you carry things in your hand. So we're talking about actually a woman, perhaps, who is a gizberis. Maybe she does conduct business, and she does use a signet, and therefore this is a normal way of wearing a signet ring. And therefore, if you have a normal way of wearing a signet ring, therefore that would be the normal way of carrying this ring. And therefore, since it's carrying this ring, therefore it would be, that's carrying in the normal way. And carrying in the normal way, one would be chayav for. Because normally, if a person carries something kalach haryad, he carries something in an abnormal way, he would not be chayav v'chatas. And Amar Rabba says Taratza Isha. Okay, you answer the woman. A woman is the gizberes. However, Ish Michael. Remember, when does a man wear a ring for jewelry? So Amar Rabba Pamim Shadam Naisin Ishta Tabas Sheish LaChaisam Halicha LeKufsa Umnichaza Biyada Ashdim Agis LeKufsa. Perhaps sometime a man needs his ring to go ahead and be signed, or someone to give it over to somebody. So she goes ahead and walks it over to the person, or goes ahead and put it away. So how does she go ahead and take it? She puts it on her finger. So therefore, you see, it could be a natural way, even though that person normally doesn't wear it for them. They're just moving it from one place to the other for the woman, for her husband. Nevertheless, she puts it on her finger. There are times that a woman has to go ahead and have her ring fixed. And how does the guy go ahead and bring it? It's Uman to go ahead and take it to the jeweler to fix. Once again, he puts it on his finger, and therefore that would be the normal way of carrying a ring. Fine. Then the Mishnah said, "V'lo b'kuliyar, v'lo b'kuvelas." So my kuliyar, what is this? Kuliyar samarabi machvanasa. So that's it's a brooch. It's a brooch, something worn around the collar, and therefore, I guess, but it's not typically worn. That's why one should not go ahead and wear it. But if it's worn, then one is chayiv. And kovelas, what is it? Kovelas amarav chumrasa de pulin, right? It's like a container, a sack of pulin is a spice, a smelling spice. V'chein amaravasi chumrasa de pulin. So too, he says also it's like a pouch of this type of spice in order for to have a pleasant aroma. And tan rabbanan leitze bikovelas v'imyatza chayavis chavis chatas. So we have Bryce that says a woman should not go out with this kovelas, with this pouch of spices, and she does go out. She's chayav chatas. Divrei Rameir, it's been a Rameir. The Chachamim say she should not go out. If she goes out, she's pater. She's not chayiv because it's still considered to be wearing. It's like tachshitim. And Rabbi Eliezer says, Yaitza isha bekovelas l'chadchila. She's even allowed to go out l'chadchila. It's mutter l'chadchila. So it's a three-way machlekes. So Gemara says, "B'mai kamifki." What's machlekes? Rameir saver masuihu. Rameir holds it's a masui. It's not tachshitin, and therefore you're carrying it. And therefore, if one who goes ahead and goes outside and Rosh Hashanah, it's considered like one who is carrying it, and therefore chayiv d'oraisa, and therefore chayiv achatas. But Rabbanan saver, the Rabbanan hold that tachshitu. It's really a tachshit. It's an ornament, and therefore you can wear it. However, what's the reason why you shouldn't go ahead and wear it? Perhaps she's going to go ahead and take it off and show it to others, and she'll go ahead and carry it in the Rosh Hashanah. And Rabbi Eliezer saver, and Rabbi Eliezer says, no, saver man darcha lemirma, right? Who's the normal one to wear such a pouch of fragrance? Isha sharecha ra. A woman who has a foul smell, she's a foul odor, and she's trying to hide her own personal foul odor by wearing this pouch of spices. So a woman who goes ahead and smells bad, she's not going to go ahead and basically showing off that the fact that she's wearing this pouch of spices in order to cover up her bad odor. So therefore, according to Rabbi Eliezer, there is no worry that she will go ahead and carry it out in the Shus Rabbim. Rabbi Eliezer paiter b'kovelas v'tzlucha shel plaita. So Rabbi Eliezer says pater. Now, in this case of the pouch of spices, he doesn't hold that it's muter l'chadchila. He holds it's pater vel aser. So what is the shita of Rabbi Eliezer? We just brought a brisa which says Rabbi Eliezer says muter l'chadchila, and this brisa over here says Rabbi Eliezer holds that she's pater from wearing it. So lo kasha, it's not a kasha. Ha kikoi ad Meir, ha kikoi ad Rabbanan. It matters who she's going to go ahead, who Rabbi Eliezer is arguing with. In other words, when we have an opinion that says you're chayiv, he says, no, you're pater. All right, so he doesn't respond, say, no, not only you're not chayiv, it's even muter chadchila. He just says, well, since you say chayiv, I'm going to tell you it's pater. But then when one says pater or aser, then he'll say it's muter. Right? Kikoi ad Meir, when he goes on, when he's arguing with Rabbi Meir, who holds that a woman who goes out and wears this pouch of spices is chayiv chatas, she's chayiv deraisa. So then he says back to him, pater. In that case, pater, you're not chayiv chatas. I disagree with you. And also, by the way, it's mutal kachila, but we're not talking about that. I'm just telling you, pater from a chatas, no chatas is brought. And kikoy ad rabbanon. And then also in the case of where the rabbanon give their shita, which we just had, to Amri, where they say it's pater vel aser. In such a case that you're not obligated to bring a chatas, but nevertheless you're still not allowed to do it. So Amar Ihu, he says muter l'chadchila. He said, and that's the case. He says muter l'chadchila. So really, Rabbi Eliezer holds muter l'chadchila. It just depends who he was responding to. If the person held that he was responsible according to Rameir, who is chayver chatas, he just says, no, you're putter. I disagree with you. And that which Rabbanan say it's usher to do, he says, no, mutter to do. But the entire time, it's Rabbi Eliezer the Shitasa who holds that a woman is not, it's considered to be a tachshitin, it's not considered to be a masui, and also a woman would not go ahead and take it off and show others because she is embarrassed about her own foul smell. Umay, turn the pages, Umay Rameir. And where is this Bryce Rameir? The time of the Bryce lotates a isha b'mafteach shabayada. A woman should not go out and carry a key in her hand on Shabbos, right? As Eddie mentioned, back in the day when there was no eruv, right? The keys were an issue in terms of wearing it. But anyway, so we say that a woman should not go ahead and carry in her hand a key. The miyatzas chayeves chatas, and she goes out with a key. She's chayev chatas. And Rabbi Eliezer paiter the kavelas with sluchas shel plaiton. And Rabbi Eliezer responded, and he says, no, she's pater in a case of wearing a flask, of spices, or some sort of or balsam oil, or some sort of pouch of spices. So he says pater in those cases. The Gemara says kavelas man dechar shmei. Who's talking about kavelas? I was talking about a key, and all of a sudden you respond and say, oh, no, a pouch of spices is pater. What are you talking about? The shaykhs. So chasuri mechzus, it's missing a part. This is what it means to say. V'chein b'kavelas, v'chein b'tzuchas shel plaiton. He says, no, you said a key or chayv chatas. He says, no, not only a key, but even a kovelas and even tzuchas shel plaiton, she should not go out. And the imyatzas, if she does go out with these chayev chatas divrei meir. Right, and that Rabbi Eliezer paiter b'kavelas luchas shel plaiton. So that what Rabbi Meir says that she shouldn't go out with the kavelas luchas or a key, and she does go out. She's chayv chatas according to Meir, and on that Rabbi Eliezer says paiter b'kavelas. No, she's pater in the case of the kavelas, in case of the pouch or the flask of balsam. And b'medvar murim ksheyesh behem baisim. Or only we're talking about when this flask, let's say the flask has some sort of balsam in it. About Abem Baishem, but if it's empty flask with no balsam in it, right? Then chayeves. Then she is chayeves a chatas in such a case. Why? Because she's carrying a kli. Now she's carrying a kli and she's not carrying anything else. And it's in the case when you're carrying for the spices. So
have your videos shut off.
What is it?
The video's off.
No, and I turned it off because they said I wasn't able to be heard before because it was too much bandwidth or whatever. Yeah, above my pay grade. So anyway, so we say in this case that if there is no flask in that case, right? If there's no balsam inside, then it's chayeves. And Amar Avada Barav Zaysemeris. This means to say, if one who goes ahead and carries out food in a container, right, and less than the shear. Then normally one is a shear. The shear for carrying is a grogros, a dried fig, right? So one who carries less than that in a container, right? So it should be chayiv. Why? If we said if there's no fragrance inside a kli, it's like you're carrying a kli. So too, if there's no shear of food inside the container, the person should be chayiv, not for the food, but right. Normally, when you can't carry a container, it's for the food. But over here, if there's not enough food in it, you're not carrying it for the food because the amount of food you're carrying is less than the shear, and therefore it's like you're carrying a container, right? The Ketani chayev and says they're chayeves. Or Rav Ashi Amar, no, pater. Really, I'll tell you pater. No, but maybe the case of if you're carrying some food, maybe there's still pater. No, even though despite the fact it's less than a shear. Right, then maybe they're still considered like you're carrying food and you're not considered carrying the container. So maybe in such a case, you would be pater. Fine. Now, so it says over there, the reishis shmanim yimshachu, right? And then it says over there, should I try again with the video? Let's see if it works. Let me see if it works. I'll try to see if it works. If it's breaking up, just stop me and I'll go back to no video. So it says reishis shmanim yimshachu.
Breaking up.
All right. I know today's all right. I'm back. All right, Parashish Shmanim Yimshachu, so it says over there, and the
didn't break up for me, just letting you know.
And so it says over there, then the beginning or the finest, right? They use the best oils Yimshachu to go ahead and anoint themselves. And so this pasuk over here is an Amos when he's giving them basically musar in terms of that they're not paying attention to the destruction, what's going to happen. They're too worried about their own pleasures. So they used to use the finest oils. That is referring to balsam. And Mesiv Rabbi Yosef, Afal Palta Gazer Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba. So even on balsam, oil was prohibited after the Churban as a punishment. He said you can't use that type of oil anymore to anoint. Gazer Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba. However, Lo Yehudulo, but the Chamin did not agree to it. They did not say balsam oil is also prohibited to use after the Churban. Via Marta Mishum Tanug, and if you say that using balsam is because of Eineg, so if it's pleasurable to go ahead and use balsam oil to anoint, so why did the Chamim not agree? According to you, the same pasuk says Hashaisim Kimizrike Yain, right? One to drink Kimizrike Yain. What does it mean Mizrike Yain? So Rabbi Rabasi Chad Omar Kanishkanin. One says kanishkin is basically like a large glass with two straws, right? You know, they would share a wine glass, share a wine glass with two different people drinking from it. So it's like a double strawed kos or something that wine was drank from. The chad omar shemazrikin, because they would, I guess, fill up their wine cups and like throw it to each other, sort of like juggling it to one to another. So that pasuk, which mentions that they use the finest oils to anoint, they also use these mezrike yain. All right, they use these mezrike yain. So, if you're arguing that balsam oil should be forbidden, what about mezrike yain should also be forbidden? So to those that should be also. Rabbi Rav Huna, equal the Reish Galusa. The Rabbi Rav Huna was by the house of the Reish Galusa, by the Exlarch, the Shasa, the Kanishkanin, and they use a Kanishkanin, right? Whatever this double strawed cup. And he didn't say anything to it. So obviously that's still mutter. So if that's still mutter, the drinking wine in such a way is mutter. So to the balsam oil is mutter. So why are those still mutter even after the churbans? The east beitanug, the east bei simcha goes rabbanos, something which has pleasure and a simcha and a special simcha. That would the rabban regaiser of the east beitanug, but such as using balsam oil to anoint to smear on one's body. Even though it is pleasurable, less but simcha. There is no outside simcha. There is no necessarily simcha in doing that, and therefore lo geyser rabbanan. Therefore the rabbanan were not geyser. And then it says hashaychvim al mitois shein. They slept on mitois fine, very fine stone beds. The seruchim al rishasam. And it says over there, they stretched out on their couches. So Amar Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chanina Malamid Shayu Mashtinin Mayim B'fnei Mitasayim Arumim. They would go ahead and they would urinate right in front of their beds, not clothed. So Megadiv Ba Rabbi Yavo was sort of he sort of mocked this answer. So if that's the case, it says over there afterwards, it says there because of this you were exiled. So Meshu, the Mashtinin, Mayim B'fnei to say my room and you go to the Rosh Golim. It says what? Because they would go ahead and go to the bathroom, right, without clothes on next to their bed, right? They didn't go all the way to the base akise. They would go ahead and go to the bathroom there. For that reason, that they were exiled out of Yerushalayim doesn't make sense. It seems too severe. So rather, no, these are people, they used to eat and drink with one another. But David is the same, they put their beds one another in different couples. With one another, and they would switch wives. And they would mix up in terms of who was with who, and whose children were with whose. They would mix all up. In other words, it was an accusation of Gila Rayas. And because of this Gila Rayas, that was the reason for their exile. And there are three things that bring a man to poverty. One who goes, we'll explain these cases. One who goes ahead, goes to the bathroom, relieves himself in front of his bed, arum, without clothes on. One who goes ahead is not careful about netilas yadayim. And one whose wife curses him in front of him. So let's see. Hamashtim also a one who goes out and relieves himself in front of his bed without clothes on. Amarava, Rava says, Lo Amran Ella Tvahader Ape Lapuria, right? Only right? If he's facing his bed, but if he goes ahead and he faces away from his bed, it's not an issue. Even if he faces his bed, only if he's doing it on the ground. But if he goes ahead and does it in a kli, in some sort of vessel, less lama, then there is not an issue. And also he's not careful in tesdaim. So only if he doesn't wash his hands at all. But let's say he goes ahead and he uses it, he just doesn't use enough water, he's not makbid enough, less lunba. Then such a person is not punished with poverty. However, Vlad Milsi, but that's not necessarily true. Rav Chizah says, no, you should be very important. Don't say that as long as it's a revis of water, we don't care how you do it. Because says Rav Chizah, right? I used to go ahead and be very careful with Netilas Yadayim. I would use an abundance of water for this mitzvah. The Yavili Mali Chafni Tuvasa. Then I was rewarded being back also, handfuls of goodness in terms of parnasa. His wife curses him in front of him. So Amarava al Ise Tashchita. Right? No, we're talking about, I guess, in terms of that he doesn't buy her gifts, right? He doesn't buy her tachshit, he doesn't buy her jewelry. That's when he has enough money, but he doesn't buy her anything. And then she curses him out for not buying him anything. So therefore, such a case would be, that would be the case. One of the cases the person was cursed with poverty. So Dorosh Rabba Bered Rav Eloi, Maidachsi was supposed to mean Vayomer Hashem Yanki Gavo B'nais Tzion. So it says over there, and he answered. So he said over there, because the daughters, because the B'nais Tzion, all right. In other words, they were well, guy. But what does that mean? Shemahalchus B'kum Zakufa. They would stand straight up, sort of walking provocatively, so others to see. But Natuyas Garon. Right. It says over there, they were walking with their necks out. They would walk slowly in order to try and catch to make sure others, they caught the eye of others. All right, in other words, and it said over there, and their eyes were gazing. Tahavi molen kuchlo le'anayu, right? Their eyes were full with this eyeshadow or different makeup in order to catch the others. Right, Ramazan, and should basically use their makeup to go ahead and hint to the men. And holuch v'tafuf, and it wasn't mean holuch v'tafuf. They were standing up tall and short. They were, a tall would walk next to a short, so they both be noticeable to the men. And by their feet, tachsena was amin amar Rav Yitzchak debei Rabbi Ami Melamed shematilois more v'afrisam b'maleim. They used to go ahead and basically put some sort of like perfume. Right, and their shoes, like a little pouch in the shoes. Mahalchos b'shuki Yishalayim used to go ahead in the market of Yishalayim. The kemen shemigas eitz b'chor Yisrael, and since they come to find the yeshiva b'achrim, buatas b'karka, they basically kick the ground. Umatizas aleya machnisas behem yetzara, and they basically the aroma would come from the fragrance, and it would come up, and the yetzara, and the boys would smell it. The men would smell it, and the Yetzirah would take them karos because like a venomous snake. It would would enter them. The Yetzirah would enter them just like the venom of a venomous snake would enter a person. So what was their punishment? It says there. It says okay, in place of their boisem, in place of their perfume. Right, it would say it says over there, makiya. Right, it will be destruction. Right, or something will go bad. So makom shemis vashas bo nasan nemakin. Right, so the place that they used to go ahead and wear their fragrance, such a cases will become shallow and empty and go bad. And there was even sores on the body. V'tachas chagura nikva. And underneath where the belt would go, there would be bruising. So makom shechaguros bitzul. So nas and nekafim. Right, the place where they used to go ahead and wear their belts. Right, that's the place where they would get bruises. V'tachas ma'isa miksha karcha. And the place where they used to go ahead and miksha, where the different jewelry, that'll be karcha. What does that mean? Makom shechaguros ba nasa krachim. Right, the place of right where they used to go ahead and wear this jewelry. Basically, they would go bald. The tachas pisigel machagura sack, and underneath, right, the sash of the belt, they would wear sackcloth. And what does this mean? Tachas what? So it says psachim havin l'dei gila yeh sak. Now the area where they used to go ahead and reveal themselves, right? So Lashon Naki over there, they would have to wear sackcloth. They would replace their clothes with sackcloth. Hitachas yofi, it would replace the beauty. Amarava, high darin shila. People say chalufe shufra kiva, right? And they would exchange for the beauty. They would exchange sores and wounds. So these are all the punishments that were given for, I guess, when they did not act appropriately around the time of the Churban. Yeah.
Yo, what is the purpose of this last?
Like what? Why do we bring it in for?
Yeah.
The connection. We originally, I think only because we were talking about balsam. We were talking about the balsam oil to wear it for fragrance, and we see other places used as fragrance. And
but that's just that last piece. We're talking about so many things about, where the three things that a guy becomes poor. That has nothing to do with oil. I mean, all this stuff.
Right. It was only brought in. Like I always say, the Gemara is very ADD, right? So it was only brought in for that. And once we talk about that, we darshan the psukim over there in Amos. We dive in the psukim.
Right, they're darshaning psukim from Amos. That's what it is.
And then, they can't do that. And then they get to the punishments of these last psukim from Yeshayahu. So we'll just get to the mission. We'll finish up. We're almost done. It goes quick. So then it says over there. All right. It says V'sipach Hashem kadkod b'nos Tzion. Right, and it says over there, and Hashem also afflict the heads of the b'nos Tzion. Some Rabbi Yosi, Rabbi Chanina, Melamid Sheparcha B'am Tzaras. They give him Tzaras. Ksifach. It says over there, V'sipach. Ksif Hasam says over there when it's in the parsha of Tzaras. It says Olosaisu L'Sapachas. So since the similar sounding words, therefore the daughters of Israel were afflicted with leprosy. V'Hashem pasen yara. And Hashem, right? So he says their openings will pour. So Rabbi Shmuel Chad Omar Shenishvu Kisa. It says that their opening will pour. Now, there will be a lot flow of nida. They would have an unusual amount of flow. And v'chad omar, that one says shenasu p'scheihem kiyar. Right? It says over there, as Rashi explains over there, and now it says that the private area nismol is sayar, and nimasas the tashmish. Right? They would become full of hair and would be disgusting for tashmish, and also another curse that they're I guess to the women. And Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Anshe Yishalayim, Anshe Shachatzay. Also, the people in the time of the Yishalayim, they were spoiled, right? They were spoiled. Adam or the Chavera, a person would say to his friend, right? What did you eat today? So b'pas samilo, b'pas shein amilo. Was it a bread that was kneaded well, or was it not? B'yayin gorldi. Oh, b'yayin chardali. Was it white wine? Was it dark wine? B'masav bracha, b'masav katzar. Was it a wide couch, a thin couch? B'chaver tay b'chaver ra, right? It was with a good chaver, a bad chaver, and amarav chizda v'chulan l'znus. Right, and all these were hints of znus. It wasn't referring to that. He was talking about they were discussing, relations, and discussing wasn't just literally in terms of food, but gluttonous eating. But even when it comes to relations, that would be discussed. And amarav Yehuda atzei Yushalayim shel kinam and hayu. Right, the trees of Yushalayim used to be like cinnamon. And when they would go ahead and burn the wood, it would be like this fragrance of cinnamon or whatever it is, this sweet-smelling fragrance on all of Eretz Yisrael. And when Yisrael was destroyed, it was all hidden. There's only one barley amount left of this type of wood. That seems to say l'malkasa. And if you go ahead and you want to find this barley, as I guess in the treasures or that which is hidden, it seems to say Malkasa, it seems to say the queen. So that's where it was. Now it's left of Yerushalayim, and we should only go back to a rebuilt Jerusalem. Everyone have a wonderful day.
Yeshkov.
And I don't know what happened with Wi-Fi. I'm not sure what happened. May have to sit closer. I don't know.